could you talk about your 3 biggest issues that will affect, who's out here, that will affect the business community and how you'd like to handle them? And I believe this is, Mr. Weiser, you'll start off on this one.
I think it's George. I just did net neutrality, right?
Oh, okay. All right. Mr. Brauchler.
Disagree. Look, I think the 3 big issues are ones that apply to a whole broad-based group of businesses and different organizations that would end up coming into contact with the AG's office. First, I think you have to have an AG's office that is, like we've run the district attorney's office, open and accessible to everyone. And part of that openness is transparency. And I'm just going to use as an example, just not words. Ed, is this 2 minutes or 1?
2.
Okay, good. Go to our website for the DA's office. You will see things up there you can't imagine any DA's office ever putting out there because we're the only ones that have ever done it. Whether it's a quarterly report of the demographics of people that go to prison, every penny that leaves our building through our operating check register, every penny we spent on the Aurora Theater shooting case. We put it all up there because you can't hold government accountable if you don't know what the hell they're doing. So I want to make this AG's office the most transparent in the country, and I want to be accessible. If someone needs a meeting with the AAG working on a case, we're going to figure out a way to do that. I want to be accessible not just to you, though, but to the consumer advocates as well, and that takes me to my next point. I want to create more formal, regularly meeting working groups on various regulated industries from stakeholders all around to say, what are we doing? How is it working? How is it not working? What are the things we might do better? What are the things we might go and recommend to the legislature to take a look at and see if they want to change it? Or to our client agencies, how they're interpreting or passing certain regulations. I want this to be far more collaborative and innovative than what do I think is the best possible outcome. And then when it comes to enforcement, I'll take a page out of the book I have as district attorney here, and that is not every nail needs a hammer. Right? Not every single person and every single violation, every single company gets treated the same. There are ways to get compliance and there are ways to raise revenue, and I think we ought to be focused more on the compliance piece than using you and your clients to raise revenue for the state of Colorado. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Weiser.
So 3 issues I want to talk about. Regulatory policy, I've talked about that a little bit. The rural-urban divide, and 3rd, consumer protection. First, regulatory policy. Sometimes people underestimate, because often trial experience gets glamorized, how important regulatory issues are. But you all in the business community, you know. Very few civil cases actually go to a trial, but a lot of regulations get adopted. Most of law is regulations. When I'm your Attorney General, what you know is you've got an Attorney General who understands this, and you'll have someone you can go up to and say, boy, the lawyers wrote this regulation in a way that isn't justified, that doesn't make sense, that doesn't work. At our best, we in Colorado are collaborative problem solvers. The methane rule is a model of regulation when you get different groups around the table. That's the sort of work I want to help spearhead as your Attorney General. Number 2, the rural-urban divide. We need to be really concerned about this issue, and water brings it to a head. If we are not creative, thinking ahead, and vigilant about how we manage our water, we're going to end up in a very tense fight between Western Slope, Eastern Plains, Front Range. I believe we're all in this together in Colorado, which is why I'm going to put such leadership and energy to be engaged all around the state and work to address these rural-urban divide issues, including access to broadband and how we manage water. And finally, consumer protection. I am incredibly pro-business, pro-entrepreneurship, and pro-responsible business. Because when irresponsible businesses break the rules, cut corners, like Purdue Pharma did, lying to people about the effects of a drug, knowing what would happen, that undermines trust. That hurts all responsible businesses. So I'll be committed to effective consumer protection that ensures that all businesses can compete fairly and that those that don't are held accountable.